All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Darian Jones of Honor Kings and Sons TV podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I want to give a special shout out to all of my subscribers on my YouTube channel. You can follow me at Honor Kings and Sons TV on YouTube. That's my YouTube channel where you see my audio podcast clips, and I'm working on getting more in-person clips for you guys to see as well. I also have another YouTube channel. This channel is more like my entertainment channel. I like to put funny skits, video reactions, and just different funny clips I see on a day-to-day basis. I like to share with people so that they can get a laugh throughout the day. So please be sure to follow that channel. That is at DJonesHKS. You can definitely just type it in and you will see it right then and there. I'm excited because my subscribers are going up on my YouTube channel and I have my followers increasing on all my other social media platforms. You can find me on LinkedIn, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, and Instagram. If you just type in at Honor Kings and Sons, I sure am going to pop up. So I'm super excited to talk to you guys about today's subject. I want to get into health. I believe that a part of wealth is your health. And, here at Honor Kings and Sons TV, this platform is focused on helping people, find their purpose, being able to be an effective ruler of their domain and all that God has given them, and to have a perspective that encompasses, faith, that encompasses logic, encompasses research, relationships, and just being able to be the best individual you can in this world. And in order for you to do that, you just have to be healthy. And I could expound from so many different angles, talking about the history of agriculture, you know, how food and health is different when you talk about the United States versus other countries. Not to say that all other countries are 100%, full nutrition and fully healthy in their diet. But specifically here in the States, our food is not healthy for the most part in more ways than we think, because there's just so many things that have been added over the years. Recently, I just looked through different food articles, and I was one of those people that I took nutrition class very serious because I just wanted to make sure I knew about what was being put in food. And you'll be surprised. I remember my teacher telling me about different things that can just, or cause a lot of harm to your immune system over the years. Different foods that you can eat that can mess up your skin. Different foods that you can eat that can mess with your blood pressure and things like that. And it was pretty interesting. And one thing that she brought up was different diets. She talked about the low carb diet, and I remember, as a matter of fact, yeah, this class I took in 2010 when I was in college. Around that time, the low carb diet had been a global phenomenon. Everybody was doing low carb diets. And what she was expressing to me was that a lot of people don't understand that every human being, their body is different. Some people are born with deficiencies. Some people are born with just being dependent. Like if you have somebody, for example, who would be like insulin dependent, right? Each person is different. You have some people that with their genetic, pool of their family, they take on, those diseases. So they have traces of things like cardiovascular deficiencies, symptoms of lupus, different cancers, diabetes, high blood pressure, things like leukemia, just different, traces of things that run in their family's bloodline. It's passed down, and those autoimmune deficiencies and different things like that. They think that, oh, I'll just take a low carb diet, or I'll take a keto diet, or I'll do all protein diet, or I'll do, all these different diets that exist. And the problem is, if you have not taken the time to do a family research of, all the illnesses and ailments that run in your family, as well as to take the time to study your particular body, right? How does your body respond to heavy meats? How does your body respond to dairy? How does your body respond to, you know, um, vegan options? And it's funny, I'm even saying that so early, but a lot of people have been swayed, when you hear about the whole subject of vegan. I remember being in high school, and when Whole Foods came out, and Whole Foods, swept the industry. Everybody was so, sold on everything being healthy from Whole Foods, but that's not true, because there's just certain fruits that that just can't have such a long shelf life as the stuff that you see in Whole Foods. There's just certain things that cannot, last long, that are naturally grown, or even the health benefits, because of the natural processing time of fermentation that takes place, fruits that turn into acids, their base form, and they can turn into acids, or fruits that have a natural high acidity, and, even different produce. Sometimes we get confused with how we think that, just eating large amounts of that stuff, or even substituting the unhealthy volume of food that we eat of processed foods, substituting that with a high volume of fruits and vegetables. We think that that is going to be the answer. No, that's not the answer. A lot of personal trainers, they're on social media, and they talk about, the imbalance that people are walking around with between nutrition and weightlifting. And all of that ties into, understanding the food that you're supposed to take in. But more specifically, talking about the food, we just have to be very careful in America. America is really a pick your poison nation. If you live in America, you just have to pick your poison. It's either going to be something that is not healthy for you. At some point in time, you're going to find yourself tasting it. You're going to find yourself trying it out. You just have to accept the fact that it's going to be something that's going to happen. So when it comes to, understanding that our food is not healthy, just to give you kind of a perspective, if you look into produce, we've had many people speak out about the produce in America. We've had videos leak of how, fake lettuce is put together. We've had footage of pesticides. We have, different meats that are meshed together. As a matter of fact, there was a gentleman on TikTok showing how now there are certain companies, they are taking chunks of meat, and they are pretty much banding it together and freezing it and selling it as, steaks. This is something that actually was shown back in 2023. And America has a lot of loopholes when it comes to companies finding ways to skip past the FDA. You have things like GRAS. For those who don't know what that is, it stands for generally recognized as safe. You have these different ingredients or these different labels that are put on our food whenever you're out shopping. These are things that you can look for to know if there are certain chemicals, additives, processing chemicals that you might see, or even just ingredients that seem like it might be a little bit concerning. These are things that you have to look for in your food. And we have to understand that when we intake these things, they're going to manifest, differently in our body. So even when I talk back to, like the fitness component or the health component as far as the nutrition that we put in our body, if a person doesn't take the time to understand themselves, right? Like what foods give you headaches, what foods, hurt the gums on your teeth, what foods, give you chest pain, what foods hurt your stomach, what foods make you go to the bathroom a lot. There's foods that we eat that make us sweat. There's food that we eat that, after a while, we find ourselves, just exhausted all the time, right? There's different things that we're eating, and we have to understand what it's doing to us so that we can write them down, go see our doctor, and then work with our doctor, to find out the best way to take care of ourselves. We're in the age of juicing. Juicing was not that popular, previously, and I'm pretty sure you had, nutrition companies and, food companies maybe back in as early as the 70s and 80s, probably when they were bringing out different types of blenders to use. But it's not like it is now. It's a phenomenon. You have influencers on social media pushing this heavy. Millionaires, billionaires have bought into it. Everybody's talking about juicing, but a lot of people don't know that juicing is something that you can't do for such a long time. Too much of anything is not good for you. Even too much water is not good for you. I remember when Tom Brady had a situation where he had to sit out a few games because he experienced drinking too much water and what it had done to him. If I'm not mistaken, there was a situation where he experienced like severe headaches, and he experienced like an abnormal display of protein that was in his system because too much water, it weakens the sodium in your body, which makes room for a lot of other ailments to start to manifest. And so that's just a difference. That's just a particular situation, and where you see even the things that we deem healthy and good for us, taken in excess, can cause problems, right? So we have the people that they beat down on fast food, but those are the obvious things. Those are the obvious things that we say are not healthy, like too much soda, sugars, candies. Everybody knows that there's a lot of animal fat and synthetic ingredients that go into candy, licorice, chocolates, things like that. But those are the obvious things, right? Um, you know, it's pretty obvious. Here's the thing that I want us to take into consideration. Take into consideration, the things that people are calling healthy. That's my take, right? Like our food in America is not healthy, even the things that they call healthy, simply because of how it's being impressed upon us to be intaking into our bodies, the way that it's suggested to us to be intaken in our bodies. Um, Moderation, the definition has been curved dramatically, in the last decade, and we just have to be very, very careful, right? If a person's in fitness and they're taking, their protein shakes, and they have these different diets, the keto diet. Recently on TikTok, we have a lot of people pushing the animal diet, right? So a lot of people are saying, "Oh, there's carnivores and herbivores. We can there's certain meats we can eat. Steak with eggs, beef with eggs, chicken with eggs, duck with eggs. Like just like a lot of people are doing these type of diets, or some people are sticking to the herbs and spices of the earth. Even in the black and brown community, you have a lot of people starting to go back to, natural herbs and spices and remedies and growing fruit from scratch. I remember the big controversy around Dr. Sebi. He's one of the many, because I actually have a close friend of my family who had a lot of nutrition books. These books go back to the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and a lot of those doctors, their books have been called out of, different libraries, different institutions, different markets because, people believe the insurance companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the health companies, and different people in the food industry don't want information out because of how it affects their sales. They want other information about the same food to be out so that it can sway the people to, walk a path of misuse. Because misuse, turns to what? More sales of medications and more services used in hospitals and medical centers. So we have this issue, and even back to my point with Dr. Sebi, he called out things like pineapple. He was like the bromelain that people brag about, and pineapple's not good for you. Kiwi synthetic, orange carrots are hybrids. Yellow yam is a hybrid, right? These are different things that people have mentioned. But if you look in America, almost every juicing ad that you see on TikTok, Instagram, every juicing company, every nutrition brand that works with gyms, you see these things being highly, highly marketed and mentioned. And it's like, wait a minute, like, we have to take a step back. Here's another question. How healthy is our soil? Because the weather's changing, the world is changing. We're experiencing different type of waters touching our land because, different parts of the world, the weather's changing. These are so many questions that we have to ask that leads back to what we put inside our body. So how healthy is our food? And I want people to take what I said in this episode and go out there and do some searching. Ask some questions, talk with doctors, get exams done on yourself, and really, find the best suitable way for you to carry on about your nutritional journey and your healthy journey, and especially if you live in America, because as the days go by, it's just more and more difficult to trust the food. And for those who don't know, we have had people speak on food scarcity in America as early as 2001, and we're in 2024. So you have to think about that as well. Food scarcity is something that was talked about. A lot of people believe that the stem cell research era that came about 2002, 2003, a lot of people feel like that was the research that was going to help the food industry with food scarcity. You look at all these steak restaurants, these fast food restaurants, these places, meat truck companies, pushing out all this meat. A lot of people feel like it's hybrid, it's processed. Some of it's just 100% not real. Some of it is meat from other animals that they're pretty much, wiping out in order to meet the needs of the people. There's a lot of stuff to investigate, but I know this for sure, that not all of our food is healthy, even the stuff that they call healthy. So I want you guys to really think about that. When you're raising your children, even yourselves, you might be in your 20s, you might be in your 30s, and you're thinking that you're eating lean, you're eating good, but you just never know until one day things shift. So always make sure you're on top of your research to make sure that you have the best options in your home for you or your family. If you guys want to hear a part 2 to this, definitely reach out to me in the comments. Please join my Discord link. I put it in the description to my videos. And if you are not following Honor Kings and Sons TV podcast on YouTube, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Go check out my other YouTube page. Get a laugh. We have to laugh. It's medicine to the soul. And it's good food for us as well. At DJonesHKS, LinkedIn, Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Honor Kings and Sons. Definitely want to make sure that you follow me on those platforms. This is Darian Jones of Honor Kings and Sons TV. You guys take care and be easy.